day 5, going for my $25,000 payout with Topstep, and we're about a quarter of the way there. Now, looking back on January, this is pretty solid because I'm trying to really take it very easy with these setups and take higher quality setups, which is exactly what I've done within the past 2 weeks, especially considering the first week was NFP week. Pretty solid price action the first week, and even the second week that was supposed to be a normal week was worse than the first week. So kind of, we might get some pretty slow price action within these next few weeks. Maybe, I want to say this quarter one, that second week of January was very slow, but this is pretty good progression considering how I've performed so far. Obviously, I'm avoiding Wednesdays and Fridays, and on a day that my setup doesn't appear, I don't take anything. Now, I will only work around my strategy if it makes sense to take the setup, if I want to put the risk on the table. And $2,500 balance is pretty solid because I took a payout in December for 6.2 thousand, and the balance was like 2,600. So when I took that payout, it left me with $1,100 to work with for my balance with a max loss limit of 0. So I really advocate not doing that unless you're really good at risk management according to your balance, adjusting your risk. That way you give yourself that buffer, some room for error, especially if market conditions change on you. There's many reasons why you should give yourself a buffer, and I definitely jumped the gun on a payout, and I could jump the gun again on this payout and pay myself another 6,000 right now. So back to back 6k months from Topstep, but definitely want to wait this time. I need to build up my buffer, and I'm gonna cover the trade right now I did on Thursday because the live trade was all right, but I didn't talk that much. So I think it's better to give another example, like one of these videos I've done before, where I just cover like the reasoning why I chose the setup I chose and how I avoided a loss on gold, that was beautiful the way that I executed on Thursday, because I really didn't have a valid setup in favor, and I took a buy at all-time highs on Russell with no supplier demand, just going off of market structure, and it still performs. This is I just can't. I'm pretty sure ICT traders got cooked Friday or Thursday. I don't know if Thursday. I think it was mostly Friday, but I'm not too sure about Thursday. So that actually doesn't make sense. But either way, this is pretty damn solid. So if we're going back to the chart or the recording, you can see right here, this is on Thursday morning, and gold literally swept the previous lows right here. You can see there's liquidity right here, and it sweeps the low. Basically, it does the same thing here. This high up here sweeps this high, and then sells off, sweeps these lows with the liquidity grab rather than liquidity sweep like this one, and it's valid for buys. Now, I could have taken buys right here and taken a win, but this is not good. This is not that good in my opinion. Especially, I was looking at sales here. So right here, this is a valid setup for sales. And I mean, just looking at myself, looking at the camera, you actually can't see the camera. That's crazy. Looking at myself here, I mean, just look. This is the face of the setup is right in front of me, and I'm considering it 100%. I'm considering taking sales here, but I'm gonna sell into higher time frame support. Extreme, no, like extreme really would not. That's like a reoccurring pattern. I noticed that when I've taken my mentor setup that sells into higher time frame support or something like this, where they go with the lower time frame and it kind of goes against a higher time frame area. Really do not want to do that, because that's been a problem before, and I've noticed that, and I will not do that whatsoever. I need some high quality setups, especially now in January. We're just getting back into the groove of things, so I don't want to take it easy. I'm obviously just sitting here, and I've already made my decision. Like, my entry already happened, almost. It just barely was off from my entry, but still, this is still valid. 200 EMA rejection. We have a lot of wicks here. It looks like a lower high being formed. It looks like we can form a lower low, but we're selling into support, and I'm going to cover this on TradingView charts. But perfect. This is literally perfect way to just sit on my hands and let this trade play out. And it actually lost. Well, that was pretty good execution on this day. Just perfect example of having patience, sitting on my hands. And this is why it's a blessing that I have Russell, a consistent indice that I can use with a good consistent win rate strategy. And this is the trade I took on Russell. All-time highs, literally taking buys at all-time highs, which is pretty crazy because we traded all-time highs at gold all last year, and now we're having to deal with all-time highs on Russell now. So, and especially I'm not even taking a supplier demand setup right here. So this is gold, and I mean, it's pretty damn obvious. You can literally see right off the rip, like there's just liquidity here, liquidity below all these wicks right here, clear liquidity. It barely wicks past it, and you fast forward it, beautiful buys. And it's the same thing here, highs here, highs here, highs here. Kind of London didn't really do too much, so we for sure have liquidity up here. And this is hindsight, but this is a clear example of how it does it. Just sweep the highs and go in favor of the opposite direction. This is essentially a breaker structure to the upside, but it's not. It's manipulation, and this is how gold works. Another example of it right here. Consolidation here, kind of somewhat resistance here, but this isn't as clean. Now, if these wicks were lower, it would be even cleaner, but we have a high here, and then it sweeps the high and comes down. And see if we can find one more before I go to, yeah, just right here. We have so many lows here. Low here, low, clear area of support. And what do? Come down, sell past it, and immediately we're going in the opposite direction. It's just so easy to spot this on gold. And I love trading gold, but when it's consolidating, it's dangerous. It can be dangerous to trade for sure. So that was my entry here, and it looked like it was playing out just fine. You don't even get a 1-to-1 or anything. And what do you know, the buys go crazy for the rest of the day. Actually, not really. It just consolidated. This is just not a good day for gold, period. Now, Russell, looking at Russell, we're clearly at all-time highs. So looking at my higher time frame, don't have much here. We have a 1 hour demand here, and I believe we came back into this, but what I was worried about was liquidity. We have liquidity right here between these demand zones, right where this money is. Right below this wick, there's liquidity here, and you can see it even better on the lower time frame. And it actually swept liquidity here. So you can see all these wicks are here. It's kind of a pain in the ass to see, but a lot of wicks here. And before the open, it literally sweeps liquidity grabs. It sweeps the liquidity with a liquidity grab based off these previous lows, and then the buys come in. Now, I was initially looking at this zone, so 1 hour supply, 1 hour demand, pretty clean. We had to pull back obviously into it, but this 5-minute demand forms, instantly gets taps, and it just gives a nice RR trade, 100%. So just like this, you can catch it. Risky play. It's too risky in my opinion, right after the open, so I'm not willing to put my risk on that. Now, looking at the trade I took. So looking at this setup and following market structure, this is actually pretty clean because this is a textbook 3-step confluence. And I wish it could have been better because I definitely could have caught a high RR trade on here, but it is what it is. Still caught my dub, and that's just fine. But if we're looking at this, we have consolidation, and then we have a liquidity grab down here. So we have a little bit of support here, a little bit of support here, and right before the open, it sweeps liquidity. And then we have a demand zone right here, which I would love to take buys within this area. And maybe you can find an entry on the 1 minute. Actually see here, because 1 minute is still valid, 100%. I just like to dodge the noise because 1 minute can get noisy. I'd rather just stick with the higher time frame, to be honest, or 5 minute and up. But following market structure here, we have our liquidity sweep in favor for bullish. So then we have our major breaker structure, and now we're at all-time highs. But we have a pause in price here, which is crucial to look at. So looking at this, as soon as price came up, this was exactly where my demand zone should have formed, but it didn't, which is just fine because following market structure, we are supposed to break this support or reject off the support and continue upwards, and we're at all-time highs. Very risky trade here. Very, very risky trade here. We already know we're at all-time highs, but you gotta take a chance on it. You just gotta take a chance on it. This is the exact entry. Reject this support. Basically a textbook break and retest. Happens very fast. Not the best. Not the best. Could be better, but it is what it is. Still valid, 100%. It's a supply and demand without supply and demand. It's just a consistent pattern that is going to go by market structure. And if we fast forward, obviously took my win on it. Pretty easy trade, and then it just continues. Now, if we go to US 30, this is literally the same exact thing. So we look at Russell, or look at New York. We look at London session. God damn, too many terms. But there's liquidity here. This is much cleaner. Liquidity underneath this area here, London lows, sweeps liquidity, comes up, breaks previous structure, and then pulls down, rejects support. Like, bro, this is so clean. You can't. It's so clean. Break structure, come back, retest, previous resistance, turn to support, take buys somewhere in this area because we're following market structure. We have the manipulation. I don't know the other terms, distribution, whatever, manipulation, whatever. It's manipulation, break structure, rejection, continue. Like, this is just so easy to see, and I bet we could have. Yeah, never mind. Don't care for NASDAQ. No thanks, but yeah, that's simple setup. Simple setup that I've made money on over and over and over with gold, taking buys at all-time highs. And these are bullish instruments. They're going to go up over time, and it's risky to take buys at all-time highs, of course, or even riskier to take sells, I would say, even though it makes more sense to take sells in a sense if you sweep liquidity at all-time highs. Buys are still valid, and it's obviously valid because I took it on Thursday, and I've done it before in my videos, and it still proves time and time again that you can consistently win on these setups at all-time highs. So that was a trade on Thursday, and we're doing pretty well. We're doing pretty well on the Topstep. I'm pretty close to getting a payout on my Redify accounts, and my live account is doing well. You see in the last video, I'm up 2.5K within the last 2 weeks, which I was up $1,800 the first week. So pretty damn good. Pretty close to being able to go full time, even though I'm not at the same time. If I just have some consistent weeks over and over and over, then my account will grow really fast, especially if I get my Topstep payout, a large 5-figure payout, and we're good to go. Good to go with loading up the live account. And then I think I just keep my head down for a little bit and just stay at this job, because I will get my employee stock program, 15% discount on SYY, Cisco stock, get dividends from that. So I could just kind of just chill at this job for a little bit, milk it, use that money to fund my business and my personal account, and get some more payouts. We'll just go from there. I'm also going to try to be more consistent with these videos. So make sure you like and subscribe, bro, because I'm trying to get monetized. I want to get monetized just real quick so I can get any little bit of money from the views from the videos that I put up, because it's kind of dope if you think about it, the business aspect of it. It's an everlasting way to get paid from your work, because YouTube's always going to be there, the videos are always going to be there, and trading's just going to grow itself. So yeah, I'm going to do more consistent videos, like day 6, day 7, day 8, day 9, like consecutive days, instead of how I've been doing it, because we're on day 5, bro. It's been like 2-3 months, about like 2 months probably around there of me trading these XFAs. So gonna be more consistent with that and get these payouts.